With the NFL being primarily a passing league and quarterbacks being required to do more and more for their team, there's debate about who the best quarterback may be. I'm not here to crown a king of quarterbacks, but I am here to definitively say who had the single best performance of any QB. Passer rating is the standard measure of quarterback performance in the NFL, with a perfect passer rating being one of 158.3. Throughout the history of the NFL, 82 perfect passer rating games have been logged, with the first recorded in 1948 and the latest occurring this past November. Although there have been 82 perfect passer rating games, not all of them are created equal, which begs a few questions. Who was the most perfect passer? Who had the best perfect passer rating game? And why can quarterbacks have a 100% completion percentage and not have a perfect passer rating? That last one I can answer pretty quickly. The passer rating stat has a complex formula. It's on the screen right now, but just to simplify it, to achieve a perfect passer rating, you need at least 10 pass attempts, at least 77.5% completion percentage, at least 12.5 yards per attempt, and at least one touchdown every 8.5-ish attempts with 0 interceptions. This means a quarterback throwing 11 of 14 for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns is a perfect passer rating performance. It also means that a quarterback throwing 28 of 32 for 480 yards and 5 touchdowns is also a perfect passer rating performance. These games are clearly not the same caliber of performance, yet the passer rating system would have you believing that both quarterbacks played a perfect game. To start my journey through these perfect passer rating games, I want to set some goals and criteria for what I want to find, as well as what I want to stay away from. As I said earlier, the first perfect passer rating game was recorded in the 1940s, and that was a completely different landscape and different game from what it is today. For that reason, I'll be excluding any perfect passer rating performances that took place before 1970 when the NFL-AFL merger happened. This is not a perfect tell of when the league became what it is today, but I need a cutoff, and the merger seems like a pretty good one without excluding too many of the older players. And apologies to the GOATs listed on screen, as their perfect passer ratings occurred pre-merger. You see all their names, shout out them. The next thing I want to establish is exactly what I am looking for. I want to find 2 different games, one of them being the most perfect performance, and the other one being whoever had the best single game performance. Because perfect is a little bit more objective than subjective, we'll go with that first. We've already established the criteria to have a perfect passer rating, but that doesn't mean you played a perfect game. To log a perfect passer rating, you can't have any interceptions. That's not something I have to watch out for, but incompletions are imperfections, and we can't have that for the most perfect performance. Somewhat shockingly, my expectations are too high. There has never been a perfect passer rating performance without an incompletion, and I am both shocked and disgusted by this. Even if I were to include the pre-merger perfect passers, there is no true perfection. So, with that said, my standards will simply have to drop. Instead of 0 incompletions, we'll allow 1 single incompletion, which takes our list down from 68 post-merger entries to 8, the 8 you see on screen. Of these 8, Mike Buck's 1993 performance occurred in a loss, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that one away. It just doesn't seem to be as perfect as I would like, so we'll remove that one. Of the now 7 remaining, 4 touchdowns is the highest number recorded, shared by Craig Morton, RG3, and Ryan Tannehill. So we'll keep it down to those 3 players being our only 3 that we're really truly looking at. Between these 3, the easiest way to determine the most perfect would be whoever has the most completions, as with 1 incompletion, they would have the highest completion percentage. And that means Ryan Tannehill in 2015 is our guy. The most perfect passer rating game belongs to Ryan Tannehill with the Dolphins in 2015, where he went 18 of 19 for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns. I will say, I do feel a little bit bad about not giving the nod to Craig Morton's game. He had 26 more yards on just 1 fewer pass attempt, but completion percentage higher means more perfect. So shout out to former college wide receiver Ryan Tannehill on the most perfect performance. Now that we've established that, it's time to find out who had the best performance. We're back up to 68 games to choose from. For the best game, because this is a much more subjective decision, I'll name some criteria, show the players that fit that, and give my pick, but I would love to see what everybody else thinks and who deserves the title if you disagree with who I am picking from. To me, to have the best performance, you need touchdowns. This list has quarterbacks with 2 touchdowns. It has a quarterback with 7 touchdowns. For the purposes of this video, I'll set the touchdown requirement at 5, which leaves us a decent enough list while cutting out a majority of the games that would kind of blend together with a lower touchdown total. This is our list now of 13 players with at least 5 touchdown passes and a perfect passer rating, and a quick shout out to Fran Tarkenton, who barely scraped past that 1970 NFL-AFL merger limitation. All 13 of these games were won by their respective quarterbacks, so that requirement is met by all 13. And now to cut down the list even further. With so many great yardage totals, anything under 300 kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, so I'm sorry to Fran, and Big Ben, and Alex Smith. Actually, I'm not sorry to Big Ben. You're out of here. Next, I like my quarterbacks chucking that thing. I like the Jameis mentality. So anyone here with under 20 completions, I'm going to have to remove, so that's Drew Brees and both Lamar Jackson appearances. Again, deepest apologies to those two. Now, let's shrink this list, get rid of the players I just talked about, and get it down to these final 7. Now, I think this is a kind of good list of 7 names. If you pick any of them, I wouldn't disagree with them being kind of the best perfect performance. I think it's truly up to what you prefer. The Tom Brady and Peyton Manning 6 touchdown games are legacy games that feel more impactful than a Nick Foles perfect passer rating games, but the yardage totals aren't quite as high as the 400 plus yarders we've got on here. My personal choice here is Jared Goff with a 26 of 33 for 465 yard 5 touchdown performance, and I'm picking that one for a few reasons. Yes, Nick Foles had 7 touchdowns. That's insane, and I think he deserves props for that. I'm not holding anything against him for that Super Bowl, I promise. The only problem I have with that game was that it was against the 2013 Raiders, who went 4-12, had Dennis Allen as a head coach, and it was a blowout 49-20 victory. The Goff game not only had the highest yardage total of any, it was against the 2018 Vikings, who went 8-7-1, were the 7th seed when only 6 teams made the playoffs, and were just 1 season removed from being the 2nd seed in the NFC. The other thing about this game is that the Rams only won by 1 score. They needed Jared Goff to play a truly perfect game, score 5 touchdowns, not turn the ball over, and take over. He did that. I will say I don't think that there is a definitive best game. As I said, it's all subjective, and maybe your personal choice for the best wasn't even in my final list. So if you disagree with me for any reason, please let me know down in the comments and let me know who I'm missing out on giving props to. This was just kind of a fun video breaking down some perfect passer rating performances. The whole concept of a passer rating is a little bit odd. It's not very easy to quantify quarterback performance down to one number, especially also in today's league when we have to factor in rushing totals and impact on the ground for guys like Lamar Jackson and any other number of mobile quarterbacks. But I don't really have any ideas of what could be better than passer rating. I don't have a whoa, this should take over passer rating. I think if there was somebody who had a better idea, it probably would be implemented just because of the inaccuracies and the oddities that we can have. I just wanted to kind of poke at that and see what we could glean from this information. I also think it's just fun to kind of look through good performances from the past, look at, some performances from the one I picked, Jared Goff, where I kind of know him as a more pocket passer and not really a huge performer. And I know he is, and I know he has good performances. He has had them on the Lions. He obviously had them on the Rams. But just to see that he was actually that good is kind of neat to revisit. Obviously, he was in the shootout with Patrick Mahomes for that Rams-Chiefs game that was super high scoring, and that one was fun to watch. And obviously, he was going toe-to-toe with Mahomes there. So it's not like I'm saying I didn't expect Goff to be good. I know he's good, but just the scope of which some of these guys, Ryan Tannehill as well, where he's not somebody I think of as this great quarterback, but he's the most perfect passer. So I think it's just interesting to see what players are the best or the most perfect and what players we kind of actually treat as such. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. If you have any other ideas for weird, fun videos just like this one, drop them down in the comments down below. And we are always looking to make more content during the off season. Stick around for more. Drop a like if you enjoyed. And with that, I will see y'all for the next one. Deuces.